Okay, guys, I'm going to do independent events, but I'm also going to throw in dependent events in there just because some of the activities have dependent also thrown in, but it should make sense. Um, when the outcome of an event, of one event, does not impact the outcome of a second event, the event is called independent. Independent. Um, But so that should make sense to you that if it's dependent, so I want you to think dependent, it does affect the outcome. It does um, impact the outcome. Okay, and I'll tell you what I mean in just a little bit. Independent probability can be determined by multiplying the probability of each event happening. So we have already done this. You do PA times probability of B. That's all you do. Okay, so these down here. A heart eye, 2 8s times 1 8. Now notice there's an 8 and an 8 because it says that you in a board game, you draw a card and you replace it. That's what makes it independent. You put the card back. If you didn't replace it, so you end up getting 2 of 64, which equals 1 of 32. Okay. If it was a dependent event, you wouldn't replace it. So your first time, here's dependent, would be 2 out of 8. But then the second time, there's only 7 cards. Do you see what I'm saying? There's only 7 cards. So now you're down to 7. Okay. So it'd be 2 out of 7. Or this would be the angel. Sorry. 1 out of 7 because you're down to 7 cards now. That's the only difference. That's why we're not going to spend a whole day doing dependent and a whole day doing independent. You get the gist there. You have to go down a number because you drew one out and you didn't put it back. If you replace it, then it's independent. If you don't replace it back, then it's dependent. Okay. So let's just do some of these answers. You have 2 out of 8, 2 out of 8, and then when reduced, you have 1 out of 16. You have 3 out of 8. You have 1 out of 8. And then when it's reduced, well, this one can't be reduced. It's just 3 out of 64. And then you have 4 out of 8 and 2 out of 8. And then again, once it's reduced, it's 1 out of 8. Okay. Kylie has a coin and a number cube. She flips the coin, rolls the number cube. These are two different things happening, so they're independent of each other. What's the probability that the coin lands on tails and the cube lands on 4? That would be 1/12. If she completed the experiment 20 times, now this goes back to what we had just learned. Okay, 1 out of 12, but now we're going to do it 20 times. So what would it be out of 20 times? And that's your cross multiplication. You should get 5 times. There are 10 marbles in a bag. There's a green, 2 are yellow, 5 are blue. If you draw a marble and replace it, the minute you see replace it, it's an independent event. If you don't replace it, then it's dependent on each other. Okay. So if you replace it, you're going to have what's the probability of choosing 2 yellow marbles? And that would be 1 out of what's the probability? 1 out of 25. Why is it 1 out of 25? There's 3 green. Choosing 2 because you had to do it twice. Okay. So you're multiplying. So 3, 4, 5, 10, right? So you have 10. And then if you draw, replace, and then 2 are yellow. right? 2. Why would we still get 25? Did I add these wrong? And draw another. What's the probability of choosing 2 yellow marbles? So you have 2 out of 10. So 2 out of 10 times 2 out of 10. Oh, that reduces to 1/5. So that's 1/5 times 1/5. And that's how we get the 1 out of 25. Okay, I spent way too much time on that. If you draw a marble 150 more times, how many times would you expect to choose a blue or a yellow? So then you're going to take the blue. The blue is 5 and yellow 7. So you have 7 out of 10. And then what would that be if you did 150? And that's all you're doing. And you end up getting 105 times. The probability of choosing a blank or blank marble is as likely as choosing a blank. A green or a yellow marble is as likely as choosing a blue. Okay. 2 number cubes are rolled sequentially. I mean, you guys get the gist on this. Let me just give you the answers. If you want to try these on your own, you can. And then I'll just put the answers. So this is 1/6. See if you can get 1/6. This is 1/8. And this is 1/16. And this last one is 16. Okay, why don't you go ahead and get practicing?